Flying this summer has been tough enough. Airfares are up a whopping 25.5% from July of last year. But if you've got the money, our transportation secretary has an idea for you. Fly out of the newly minted Trump Airport in Florida. Palm Beach International Airport is officially President Donald J. Trump International Airport. And Secretary Duffy had to call his boss for a big development.
I'm trying to call DJT. Mr. President, do you know where I'm at today? I'm at one of what will soon be the greatest airport of all time, but it does have the greatest name. This is the first day we're printing boarding passes that say DJT on them.
I think all over the world they're talking about it. You know, Sean, they're talking about it all over the world.
Talking about it all over the world. If the excessive praise feels like a bit much, maybe it's because it comes amid a string of losses for Trump. As Scott McFarlane of Midas Touch points out, Congress has brushed off GOP legislation to put Trump's name or likeness on Mount Rushmore, the $500 bill, Dulles Airport, and there's Flag Day. So the administration celebrates what they can with DJT on boarding passes. Richard Stengel, Alvaro Bedoya are still with me. Richard, I get that praise is part of the job description these days, but that feels like a bit much.
Yes, Alicia. I mean, the job is performative. And it's not just performative for the American people. It's performative for one man, Donald J. Trump. I mean, if I were ever lucky enough to be in a president's cabinet, I know the first thing I would do would be take a trip across the country with my family and video it and put it up on YouTube, which is exactly what Sean Duffy has done. The problem with the whole administration is nobody actually even understands what their job is, what it means to be a servant of the American people, and he's just showing it every day.
It's worth noting, Alvaro, that the Duffy YouTube series starts with a disclaimer. The program is a result of an agreement between the Transportation Department and the Great American Road Trip, Inc., and that production costs were paid for by the Great American Road Trip, Inc., and accepted as a gift by the department. Any alarm bells in your FTC brain?
Can't get over the segment from, quote, DJT Airport. And I just want to say, I hope that boot tastes good, because it's got a real shine after Mr. Duffy. Look, Mr. Duffy is acting like who he is. He is a former reality star trying to relive his past, a former lobbyist for not one, not two, but all three of this country's largest airlines. And for the people who are budget conscious and right now, mid-August, are looking at that Thanksgiving flight, starting to book it out, thinking about how much it's going to suck to be packed like sardines on some high-priced flight, I want everyone to go look up how many dollars in fines Sean Duffy has levied against the airlines this year. And it's a number that rhymes with hero but means the opposite. He has not only levied $0 in fines, he has waived an $11 million fine for Southwest for stranding like 22 million people in 2022, another $11.9 million fine against American Airlines. He is working for Donald Trump. He is working for the airlines. He is doing absolutely nothing for regular people when he's wearing his nice little V-neck sweaters, talking to his daughter in his living room, courtesy of whatever ridiculous company is footing the bill for it.
Okay, can we talk about can we talk about one of those scenes? I want you to take a listen, because in addition to showing us the beauty of America, Rick, we also got exchanges like this. Here it is.
If I send you there, I think what happens is they have professionalized figuring out how they can take good young girls like you and, I think, corrupt their minds. You don't have to believe what I believe. You don't have to have the political viewpoints that I have. But I do think it's important that you make those choices for yourself and you have a fair representation of what they are. And I don't think the Harvards of the world give you that kind of well-rounded picture.
But I went to an extremely conservative school in high school, and I'm part of an extremely conservative family. And that if I go to a liberal setting, that's a way more rounded education than if I go to a conservative high school and then go to a conservative college. That's just being kind of one-sided anyways.
But they're so good at it. You'll see young people go to a conservative school with a conservative family, and they get perverted and contorted.
Okay, so that's him talking with his daughter Paloma about going to Harvard. Alvaro and I we went to Harvard together, so we're going to sit this one out. But I mean, what is interesting to me is the fact that it's like this is propaganda, right? It's like it's supposed to. I actually sort of like when it's about taking a road trip through America and seeing the parks. Like, you know, God bless. I don't understand how this then falls under the umbrella of a cabinet position and the job that entails.
No, Alicia, it doesn't. But as silly and conspiratorial as what Mr. Duffy said, I admire and praise what his daughter said. What she did was to give that kind of rationale for liberal arts education, which Harvard is an exemplar of, which is to open your mind to other points of view than the points of view that you've had. So I praise her. I think he has that sort of that Trumpian anti-elitism that Harvard and the Ivy League represents. But she is talking about what those schools do represent, which is trying to enlarge your mind through studying things that open your mind.
She would be a star in section. Alvaro Bedoya, Rick Stengel, thank you both so much for being with us.